The forgotten scandal. Every country has secrets, but some are buried deeper than others. Hidden not by enemies, but by silence. Erased from memory. One U.S. president stole more than trust. He sold power. Gave government contracts to his friends. Let his inner circle loot the country. And walked away untouched. His name, Warren G. Harding. But no one talks about him. This is the story of how one man turned the White House into a criminal empire, and why history let him disappear. The rise of a shadow president. Warren Harding didn't dream of power. Power found him. He owned a small-town newspaper in Ohio, spoke well, dressed well, smiled often. But beneath that calm face, chaos. He rose through deals, not principles. He owed favors, lots of them. By 1920, he was the perfect candidate, because he was controllable. Backroom brokers picked him, not for his vision, but because he'd say yes. The campaign was a product. Short slogans, big promises, no substance. Return to normalcy. America bought it. He won in a landslide. And once he was in, the door opened wide. Not for the people, but for the gang behind him. And that's when the looting began. The Ohio gang and the body trail. Duration, approximately 6 to 8 minutes. They weren't politicians. They were criminals in suits, bootleggers, fixers, brokers, and they all had one thing in common: Ohio and Harding. They followed him from Marion to Washington, and once he became president, he gave them power, titles, offices, vault keys. Harry Doherty, appointed Attorney General. But really, he was the cover-up artist. Protected every scandal. Took a cut from every deal. Charles Forbes, head of the Veterans Bureau, stole over $200 million meant for wounded soldiers. Sold hospital supplies to friends. Took cash in suitcases. Gambled it away in Paris. And Albert Fall, Secretary of the Interior, the man behind the Teapot Dome scandal, accepted secret bribes from oil barons, gave away U.S. Navy oil fields. They thought no one would notice, but bodies started to drop. Jess Smith, Doherty's aide, found dead. Bullet to the head, ruled a suicide. Case closed. Harding's death came next. In a San Francisco hotel. No foul play declared. But doctors disagreed. His wife destroyed his papers. Charges followed, but Harding, already buried. His gang, cut deals, took cash, walked free. How he got away with it? Harding never faced trial, never answered questions, never testified, because he died just in time. In 1923, scandals boiled, reporters hunted, Congress prepared. Harding vanished on a train tour, called it a voyage of understanding. But it was a dodge. He died in San Francisco. Sudden. No autopsy. Wife refused it. Burned letters, journals, history. Harry Doherty was investigated twice. Never convicted. Charles Forbes went to prison for 2 years for stealing millions. Albert Fall, the first U.S. cabinet member ever convicted, served 1 year. No president was charged. No real justice. Just silence. What he left behind. Duration, approximately 6 to 7 minutes. Harding proved power can be sold, that the presidency can be rented out. He normalized corruption. Loyalty over law. Friends over the nation. Every scandal after followed his blueprint. Watergate, Iran-Contra, payoffs, fixers, cover-ups. He didn't just stay in the office, he rewired it. The public moved on. Jazz prosperity, headlines faded. History called him weak, not criminal, just unfit. But that was the disguise. He smiled, played dumb, and let others do the dirty work. The real cost, what it stole from America. Corruption costs more than money. It costs lives. Veterans came back from WWI, wounded, waiting, promised help. Forbes stole their medicine, sold clinics to friends, threw parties while soldiers died. Teapot Dome, U.S. Navy oil, sold off. No oversight, no competition. Oil flowed, money disappeared, and trust shattered. Government looked like a casino, rigged, bought, fake. Harding's gang broke the system from inside. What they stole can't be measured. It's still missing. Why no one talks about it? Nixon made headlines. Clinton made headlines. Harding disappeared. He died early. Before trial. Before blame. So the story faded. Historians called him simple. Not corrupt, just clueless. His wife burned the evidence. The party buried the scandal. No documentaries. No debates. Just silence. That's the trick. Don't hide the crimes. Hide the story. Could it happen again? Duration. Approximately 7 to 8 minutes. It's already happening. Different names. Same playbook. Build a loyal circle. Reward silence. Control the media. Distract the public. Today, it's digital. Money moves faster. Secrets vanish. But the pattern is familiar. Harding wrote it. Modern leaders read it. It didn't stop. We just got used to it. The president who got away, Warren G. Harding, died before the truth caught him. His gang looted the country and walked free. History erased the scandal, left behind a statue, a school, a smile. But now you know. Not every corrupt president gets caught, and not every scandal makes it to the history books. Some are buried, waiting to be uncovered. Fade to black. No credits, just questions. The kingmaker in the shadows. Most presidents play the game. Lyndon B Johnson built it, twisted it, owned it, on TV.com. Confident, civil rights, behind doors, threats, bribes, blackmail. His rise wasn't clean, it was bloody, and it may have started with a stolen Senate seat. This is not the LBJ in history class. This is the man Washington feared. The one who knew everyone's secrets, because he helped create them. This is the real Lyndon B Johnson. Asterisk. The rigged election, no. One talks about Texas. Johnson runs for Senate. He's losing. Then comes ballot box, 13.202 names. All in the same ink. All in alphabetical order. All for Johnson. Overnight, victory by 87 votes. Landslide Lyndon. That's what they called him. Not out of pride, but because they knew it was fake. Decades later, a judge confessed. The election was stolen, but no one reversed it. Johnson was already in power. Lesson learned. Power can be faked, if you're ruthless enough. The military-industrial empire. Johnson was a businessman in a senator's suit, and his biggest partner, Brown and Root, now part of Halliburton, in the 50s and 60s, they funded his campaigns. In return, he sent them billions in contracts, dams, highways, bases. Then came Vietnam. Brown and Root got war contracts. No bid, no oversight. They built the war machine, and Johnson kept it running. The longer the war lasted, the richer they got, and the deeper LBJ's fingerprints went. Was the war about ideology or industry? For LBJ, maybe both, but only one paid back. Blackmail files and FBI leverage. Johnson didn't just build allies, he kept files. Hoover, head of the FBI, gave him dirt on senators, reporters, activists, even presidents. LBJ used it all. Silenced opposition. Controlled votes. He knew who drank, who cheated, who stole, and he reminded them right before key decisions. That's not leadership. That's control. It worked, because fear is faster than loyalty. The Bobby Baker scandal and the smokescreen. Bobby Baker was LBJ's right hand, a fixer, a dealmaker, a bagman. He arranged contracts, bribes, and blackmail. Connected senators to women, cash, favors. In 1963, it unraveled. Investigations began. Millions unaccounted for. Senate deals traced back to Baker and Johnson. But something happened. JFK was shot. LBJ became president. Suddenly, the Bobby Baker story vanished. The scandal was buried. The headlines changed. And Johnson stepped into the White House clean. Clean, but not innocent. Did he know about JFK? 8 to 9 minutes, the biggest shadow in Johnson's life, was the one cast in Dallas, November 22, 1963. Kennedy is assassinated. Johnson is sworn in. Many believe it was Oswald, but some point to the one who gained everything. He hated being VP, was nearly dropped from the ticket in '64, under FBI investigation. And then everything flipped. Was he involved? There's no proof, only whispers. Confessions from people who died decades later. But one thing's clear, LBJ rose from the ashes of Dallas, and never looked back. The legacy that wasn't earned. Approximately 2 minutes. LBJ passed major laws, civil rights, Medicare, voting rights. But behind that legacy was a throne built on secrets, rigged elections, war profits, FBI files, a trail of scandals. History called him complex. But maybe that's too kind. Because if you strip away the speeches, you find a man who weaponized politics and never apologized. Some say he was great, others say he was dangerous. The truth, he was both. Fade to black. Just questions. The honest general's tarnished legacy. Approximately 1 minute. Ulysses S. Grant was a war hero. The general who won the Civil War. A symbol of victory, honesty, integrity. But his presidency, a nightmare of graft and greed. Scandals that shook Washington. Men in his inner circle, stealing millions. While Grant looked the other way. The worst corruption in U.S. history. Some say it began here. This is the story of the man who won the war, but lost the peace. The whiskey ring. Approximately 6 to 7 minutes. The government taxed whiskey, millions in revenue. But the whiskey ring, a network of officials and distillers, stole it all. They bribed tax collectors, falsified records, hid profits, and shared the loot. Grant's private secretary, Orville Babcock, was deeply involved. Yet Grant stood by him, denied any wrongdoing. When the scandal broke, the public was furious. But Grant's loyalty blinded him. The whiskey ring stole millions and nearly broke the presidency. The credit mobilier scandal. Approximately 7 to 8 minutes. Railroad tycoons ran wild. The credit mobilier company inflated railroad construction costs. Congressmen took bribes to look the other way. Grant's administration was tangled in the mess. His vice president, Schuyler Colfax, was implicated. The scandal exposed deep rot. Public trust plummeted. The railroad scandal was a symbol of greed eating the heart of government. The Indian ring in more. Approximately 6 minutes. The corruption wasn't just money. It was policy. The Indian ring siphoned funds meant for Native American tribes. Supplies were sold off. Promises broken. Grant tried reforms, but his administration's grip was weak. Scandal after scandal eroded his power. Grant's blind loyalty. Approximately 6 to 7 minutes. Grant trusted his friends too much. When accusations surfaced, he defended them fiercely, even when the evidence was clear. His personal honesty blinded him. He couldn't see the poison spreading around him. That loyalty cost him everything. His reputation, his presidency. Legacy of corruption. Approximately 7 to 8 minutes. Grant left office with a tainted legacy. The man who saved the Union was remembered for scandals, but some say he was a victim of his own kindness and the ruthless people he trusted. History is complicated, but one thing's clear: corruption thrived on Grant's watch, and it shaped the way America saw power forever.